morning, everybody. Welcome to Meditation at Unity. Meditation is kind of like going to the gym, but for your mind, you know? It's stretching that muscle there, bringing some discipline. So find a comfortable spot where you feel it's only your spot. Only you can determine what's comfortable. But stay alert and try not to fall asleep. If you find yourself falling asleep, you might open your eyes. Your eyes can be open, they can be closed. Try to sit in an upright position. It's often said that you sit as if you're royalty, king or queen, surveying your land out there. Your hands can be in your lap, they can be on your thighs, they can be on your knees, wherever it's comfortable. And then you find something to focus on, and most often the best way is your breath. And it's not just your breath. If you can bring it down to where you focus, where your breath comes in or out, your mouth or your nose, your nostrils, and bring it down that finite, it really helps. So we're just going to breathe, and every time your mind wanders, and it will, you just bring it back to the breath. Sometimes people find it helpful to count each breath. It's pretty hard to get beyond 4 or 5 before your mind goes galloping off once again, and you just gently bring it back to the breath. So find that focus point of your breath, and here we go.
twirling. Do what? Twirling. Just a waltz. We've done it before. Just a waltz. We've done it before. Should be in there. Maybe. Got it? 1, 2, 3.
Renegade Monks, everybody. Good morning, everybody. It's a scorcher out there, huh? Or at least it will be. I'm Reverend DeeAnn Morency. I am celebrating 1 month as senior minister at Unity in Marin. I have to say, people keep asking me, how are you doing? How are you doing? And I just want to say, I wake up every morning in love with my job. I just want to say that, right? Every morning I wake up and I'm in love with my job. So if you are new to Unity, welcome. If you are joining us on the live stream, we're so glad to have you with us this morning. We are a community that is grounded and anchored in the truth of who we actually are. And that in the midst of life, anybody in here in the midst of life right now? In the midst of life, that we're able to still anchor ourselves in something that is deeper and more powerful, like love, like the love that I feel when I wake up every morning for the work that I get to do, for the service that I get to do. And we here believe that we get to support each other in living into that more fully and more powerfully and more joyfully. Everything about Unity's teachings is about living a joyful, fulfilled, abundant life and doing that from a place of love and compassion, knowing who we truly are. So we're invited into compassion for ourselves as well as compassion for each other. So it is my joy to be here with all of you today. Again, whether it's here in person or it's through the magnificence of our live stream. For those of you who are watching remotely, you may notice, it's really hard to miss, the incredible quality difference of what's happening with our camera. I just want to give a shout out to the tech team. They worked long hours this weekend. We have a new camera. So that got installed this weekend. And so the next piece is, because we got the new camera, guess what we're noticing about the old camera? Not quite as pretty. So we're going to make that one of our next things that we're going to step into. So we have, thank you, we have our mask mandate, we're following county guidelines here. So if you're vaccinated, it is your choice whether you're wearing a mask or not. Anyone who was on platform has been tested for COVID prior to service, so that is why we're going unmasked. And if you are unvaccinated, you are asked to wear a mask. So that is, we're trying to keep everybody safe here. Everybody, ourselves and those who perhaps feel a little less insecure, a little less secure about whatever might be going on with their immune system. We also have a virtual simulcast outside in the courtyard. So anyone who would like to come and actually be here with us on campus, you're welcome to come and sit outside. It's beautiful out there. We've got little shade tents set up. It's really lovely. So Carolyn Gauthier is our musical guest for today. And she's actually going to be going away to France for 6 weeks? Yeah, 6 weeks, a month. So as some of you may know, whenever we do a theme, so the theme that's coming up, which is going to start next week, is our book study, Think Again by Adam Grant. Every time we do a theme, Carolyn, out of the creative genius that is her musical talent, writes us a song that is our community song for the time that we do that. So Carolyn is going to teach it to us today because she's not going to be here with us for when we launch the book study. So everyone, Carolyn Gauthier and the Renegade Monks.
Right. Well, it's my pleasure to be here and to be working on this song because it's what we're all going to be thinking about and talking about for the next 7 weeks. Thinking Again. Think Again is the name of the song. So hopefully you'll at least get it in your heads today and then be able to sing it yourselves coming up. Think again, are your thoughts all true? Think again, leave the past behind. When we were children, we thought like children and became who we learned we should be. But now it's clear what we hold dear is not real, just what we want to see. Think again, are your thoughts all true? Think again, are they really you? Think again, open up your mind. Think again, leave the past behind. We can be humble, admit when we're wrong, and embrace the pain that comes with doubt. If we don't hide, but look inside, we can learn just how to work things out. So think again, are your thoughts all true? Think again, are they really you? Think again, open up your mind. Think again, leave the past behind.
She makes that look so easy, doesn't she? Let me just think about what we're doing and I'll just write that song. I love the country vibe on that. So we have beautiful flowers today. They're gorgeous. And our sponsor is Jill Kaufman and Santon Kaufman. And this is in celebration of Charcelle and her stepdaughter Jordan, who are, Carolyn is not the only one traveling overseas. They're going to be heading on the Camino coming up very soon. And the flowers were done by our very own Sarah Gaspari. So I want to call someone out. There she is. Don't go anywhere, Anne. She's just about to sneak out of the room. I want to just lift Anne up. You know, this potluck hospitality is really taking off, and we're having a great time after service in the courtyard. And there was a time where we didn't quite know what we were doing with hospitality. And Anne stepped forward and she said, this is important. This is something that should be happening. And she personally was going out and picking up supplies so that we could have something. And all of it at first had to be COVID safe and individually wrapped. And I mean, the energy, the love, and the service that she put into it. So we would not be where we are right now with the potluck hospitality sort of going like mad ducks, right? If it wasn't for Anne. So can we just give her some love? This is Labor Day weekend, right? So we're going to be supporting and highlighting and lifting up all of the people that enable Unity in Marin to be here, right? And our theme is holding the high watch today, which is part of World Day of Prayer. And that's what Anne was doing for hospitality, right? She was holding the high watch for all of us until we could catch up with the possibility that she was sensing was there, and she just held that until the rest of us could sort of get on board with that with her, right? It's what we do for each other here in community. So if you are new here and you want to find out more about what we're doing, you can join our text in church. Text WELCOME to 415-991-7111. If you've been here for a while, you can text LOOP. It's also a way you can reach out to me if you text back to the number. I actually do see those texts, so you can absolutely reach me that way. It's a way for all of us to stay in touch and to just know what's happening here within Unity in Marin. And so I'm going to call Carolyn back up again, and she's going to center us in a song that's going to lead us into our opening prayer.
I wrote this song about 15 years ago. I know it's at least that long because I made a CD and I just looked at it today in 2013. If you can believe that, there's some free ones over there by Charcel if you want to take one home. I've got about 1,000 of them. But when I wrote this, it was a fall study, book study song about prayer. And when I reworked it for today, I realized that at that point in my life, I was praying to God out there. I was saying, God, open my heart. God, open my mind. And as I've learned more about affirmative prayer, I looked at the song and I said, well, all I really have to do is put the word I in front of it. I open my heart. I open my mind. And it puts it on me, but it also puts it in me. So as I open myself to the divine, then this is what comes out. This is what happens when we open ourselves to the divine. This is my prayer. I open my heart to a greater love, knowing all that I am is more than enough to bring hope to the weary and strength to the weak. To share all my gifts is what I seek. Today, right now, this is my prayer. I open my mind to a greater truth. Without judgment or blame, I begin anew. As I quiet my thoughts and go deep inside, there's room to create and no need to be right. Today, right now, this is my prayer. With all of my heart, with all of my soul, today, right now, this is my prayer. I open my life to a greater peace, so that all that I do comes with joy and ease. To let go of the past and embrace the unknown, to give and receive in the sacred flow. Today, right now, this is my prayer. With all of my heart, with all of my soul, today, right now, this is my prayer. Right here, right now, this is my prayer.
So I'm going to invite Kathleen to come forward with the prayer box. I'm going to invite any prayer chaplains or emeriti or anyone who in consciousness holds the high watch to rise and encircle this community in love. And we're just going to help anchor this prayer field. And just everyone take a look at all these prayer chaplains and emeriti that are standing up, right? And you are being held, if you're watching on the live stream as well. This is the consciousness that anchors so much at Unity in Marin. And we're all invited to join into this consciousness. So I'm going to invite everyone to just take a breath with me. How good it is to be still and know. How good it is to open the heart, open the mind, as Carolyn sang so beautifully. Welcoming that spaciousness that is at the very root of who we are, of what we are. The breath is breathing us. The love that we are is loving us. The grace that we are is gracing us. And so as we breathe, we are breathed, recognizing that one power, that one presence, that one life, and that one love that truly is all that there is, revealing itself as all that there is. My life, the life of each person here, the life of all who are on their way. Seeing and knowing the divinity that we each are, that we collectively are, shining our light. And into this space, we just lift high all who are in service to this world. As we celebrate Labor Day, we lift all who labor, knowing that they do not labor in vain, knowing that the labor that we all step into, that we are invited to move from the deepest wellspring of who we are, and that from that place, joy burbles forth. We lift up in gratitude and appreciation all who have supported us, those voices, those places, those spaces that maybe we didn't know just how important they were to the overall flow of life. We lift up the waiters, we lift up the delivery people, we lift up those teachers, those who have been showing up on the front lines, nurses, doctors. We just hold all who are in service to each other, who live from that place. And we know right now, I just know that each of us is invited to step into that place within our own hearts, within our own minds. That however it is that we labor, that it is a labor of love, that it is a labor of joy, and that it is always working for the greatest and highest good for ourselves and for each other. We see this for the world, just allowing our consciousness to be large enough to hold the high watch for this entire planet. And we know that in this space, love is, possibility is. And so it is. Amen. Ashe.
Good morning. Good morning. My name's Debbie Sweeney. I will be your platform assistant for today. Let's take a breath. I'm in a higher vibration. Thank you, DeeAnn. And that's what prayer does for us. It holds us to a higher level, a higher presence, a higher vibration. So with that, we have even more prayer support for everyone, whether you're online or in person. You can fill out a prayer request. We have slips of paper near our prayer boxes. You can visit us at unityinnmarin.org. You can call and leave your prayer request at 415-475-5000 and just press extension 0. You will be held in prayer for 60 days. And again, you recognized all our prayer chaplains here in the service, so they will be available to us all at the end of service. We have a mission that we are committed to. Please join together in stating our mission statement. We are a spiritual community committed to authenticity and the expression of love and support for each other in living an awakened and enlightened life. And we have 3 core commitments. Please join me in stating those. As a spiritual community, we connect with spirit, inspiring each other, the community, and the world. We grow in consciousness through education, healing, and prayer. We serve spirit, community, and the world with love, joy, and a sense of adventure. Yeah, thank you. At this time, we're going to have our inspiration and prayer read by Shay's son.
Good morning. It is now time for our inspirational reading, a time to let these words become part of your morning reflection, your morning meditation, prayer. I invite you in this moment to take a deep breath and to pause, to close your eyes if you wish. I invite you to let these words become your words. The affirmation for today is, I hold the high watch as I pray. With a faith-filled and thankful heart, I align my thoughts and feelings with spiritual truth. From this peaceful place, this powerful place, I hold the high watch as I pray. When praying with people I know, I visualize them healthy and vibrant. I see them at peace with all their needs met. My vision becomes a living prayer as I affirm their innate divinity. Broadening my view, I focus on the well-being of all people, all the world's creatures, and our earth home. I envision the vibrations of my heartfelt prayer reaching everywhere as I rest in the peace of God. As I touch the peace and the perfection of God, the oneness I feel lifts my consciousness and raises the vibration of health, love, and life for everyone touched by my prayerful blessing. And now, let us take this into a time of silence. Once again, the affirmation for today is, I hold the high watch as I pray. Please know this with me as I say, I hold the high watch as I pray. Go ahead. I hold the high watch as I pray. Thank you.
I am called to be a healer for all humanity. I am called to be a dreamer, believe in what can be. I am called to be a maker, be an instrument of peace. I am called to be a giver, of abundance I receive. I am called to be a prayer, living out the truth I seek. I am called to be everything. I am called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shines in you and me. I am the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. called to be. You are called to be a mother, to nurture family. You are called to be a brother, be strength in times of need. You are called to be a neighbor, see a friend in all you meet. You are called to be a leader, to build community. You are called to be a prayer, living out the truth you seek. You are called to be everything. You are called to be. Called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shines in you and me. You are the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We're called to be. We are called to be the kindness, set the broken-hearted free. We are called to be forgiveness when pain has run too deep. We are called to be compassion, only then can we succeed. We are called to be communion, only then will we succeed. We are called to be a prayer, living out the truth we seek. We are called to be everything. We are called to be. Called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shines in you and me. We are the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We're called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love. We're called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love. We're called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love. We're called to be.
Oh, called to be. We feel that call within us sometimes? That call that is urging us forward, that there's something more. That's the divinity that you are. The divinity that you are that is infinite in its expression, that is saying there is always more for us to reveal, always more for us to discover about the truth of who we actually are. And this idea of holding the high watch is really about how we can cultivate our consciousness. One of our mission statements is that we're here to live an awakened and enlightened life. What does that actually mean? Right? I mean, when you really think about it, it's like, what does that really mean? It's beautiful, don't get me wrong. I love our mission statement. But how do we actually do that? How do we actually live an awakened and enlightened life? So one of the ways that we can do that is through engaging in activities and global phenomena like Unity's World Day of Prayer. So once a year, Unities across the globe, and yes, we are international in scope, are all coming together in consciousness to hold the high watch for the world. And I talked a little bit about this during a couple weeks ago around this idea of collective consciousness. When we come together in agreement in collective consciousness, that is how we, as seekers, as those willing to live an awakened life, can actually up-level the consciousness of the entire planet. So this Wednesday at 7 p.m., we're going to have a service here that's going to be kicking off all around the globe. We have Christine Toulis playing harp. We're going to have a labyrinth set up in the back so that there's going to be a time for introspection, a time for deepening. You'll get to walk the labyrinth. You'll get to hold the high watch for other people, perhaps, as they walk the labyrinth. And you're invited to submit any prayer requests that you would like to submit. There's in your program, there's a prayer request form that you can fill out. And the sky's the limit, you guys. The sky's the limit, right all over it. And there are going to be prayer chaplains and emeriti and anyone else who might be interested in sitting vigil here in the sanctuary on Thursday during the day that are going to be anchoring all of those prayer requests. And so if you want to come and be part of that on Thursday, 6:30 a.m., we have prayer chaplains who are going to get here at 6:30 a.m. So if you're an early bird, you can come. I'm looking at them right now. You can come and you can just be in the space. It's going to be open all day until 5 p.m. So if you want to drop in, you want to walk the labyrinth, it's a beautiful time to do so. So what are we doing when we're holding the high watch? We are anchoring the possible. We're not anchoring what is in time and in space. We are anchoring what is always possible, what is always available to us. So we might call this spiritual truth. We might sometimes call it the absolute. We live in the realm of the relative in time and in space, and yet behind that, behind what we're experiencing in circumstances and all the stuff, right? Everybody in here is experiencing life, right? Behind all of that, there is the absolute. There are the things that are unchangeable. They are immutable. They are what I love. When I fell in love with this teaching is because I realized, they're actually reliable. They're always there. I can always access them. They're reliable. How many people in here grew up with a trickster God? A God that was sometimes there and sometimes not, and if you were good, then God was good, but if you were bad, then you were gonna, right? That trickster understanding of the divine, that's not what we believe in Unity. We know and believe that there are constants that we can allow ourselves to live into more fully. So we're anchoring the possible, which means that we have to embrace the possible. And so it's one thing to know that we can anchor it, but it's another thing to actually embrace it. So I was an actor for many years, and there's a game. I'm taking my sandals off, you guys. I hope you're okay with that. There we go. I'm not feeling grounded in those right now. So we're invited to embrace the possible. So when I was an actor, we used to play this improv game, which was called Yes and. And you got up on and no matter what your partner said in improv, you had to say yes, and you weren't allowed to say no to them. You weren't allowed to say yes, but. How many times do we do that? Somebody says, wouldn't it be great if we could go to France? Yes, but I don't really know if I'm going to have enough time. I don't know how I'm going to get the work. I don't know if I have enough airline miles. Where am I going to find a cat sitter? All the things that trickle in that make it about the but. Now, what if we actually played yes and in our own life? The ideas that come to us, yes, and how can I actually make that happen? Yes, and how could that even be more fun? Yes, and what else is there? That's what I mean by embracing the possible. So I have shared this before, and you're going to hear this from me a lot, right? I believe that there are 4 pillars to living an awakened life. That with these 4 pillars, we actually can hold the high watch and we can actually grow and evolve, and that these 4 pillars are really the anchor for a spiritually fulfilling life. And the first one is meditation. Art led a beautiful meditation. If you haven't come to the 9:30 meditation, it's 20 minutes from 9:30 to 9:50, I invite you to come and stretch yourself and try it out and see what it's like to sit in community in the silence. It's really a beautiful, beautiful thing. And what meditation cultivates within us is stillness, our capacity to be receptive, our ability to be open, as Carolyn sang. And meditation cultivates our capacity to just be. Really just be. No doing, just being. The next pillar is affirmative prayer. And affirmative prayer is unity's gift to the world. Really, honestly, I absolutely believe this. This is what unity has given to the world that is new thought. There is no other prayer process that mirrors what affirmative prayer does. Because affirmative prayer is about activating the beingness that you experience when you're in meditation. Affirmative prayer is about standing in your spiritual authority, the divinity that you are, that enables you to name and claim and activate in time and in space. And then we have the sacred Sangha, and you just need to look around for that, right? Sacred Sangha is so vital. It's where we get to show up in our humanness, but yet we're held in the realm of the absolute, because that's an agreement that we're making with each other when we're in sacred Sangha. That I am going to be compassionate as you heal something that is showing up in our relationship. I am going to hold for you a space of love as I watch you struggle with whatever circumstance might be going on in your life. And I am going to be held by you when I am coming up with my own internal healing and with the things that are alive in me. Sacred Sangha is how we show up in service. It's how it's bigger than just us, my little navel gazing. We're larger than that. And then there's vision. And vision is the place where we get to grow. It's about possibility. It's about potential. And when we cultivate these 4 pillars in our own life, we actually can begin to activate something within us that allows us to live into that idea of an awakened and enlightened life. So Charles Fillmore has famously said, this is probably one of Charles Fillmore's most famous quotes, aside from zeal, the quote about zeal, which is, I will do the things that are mine to do, right? But affirmative prayer is the most highly accelerated mind action known. Human consciousness synchronizes, I love that, with Christ mind. And if you're triggered by the idea of Christ mind, just take a breath. We can call that Buddha mind. We can call that allness, right? It's different words, same, everyone's pointing to the same place. So what affirmative prayer does is allow us to let our humanness catch up with the divinity that we actually are. It allows us to step into something so that we can align with the truth of who we are. Anybody in here struggling with aligning with the truth of who you are? Like, you remember it when all is good, right? And then something happens and all of a sudden you are so out of alignment with your Christ best loving self. So affirmative prayer is one of the most powerful practices that you can step into because it is a process of transformation. It's a transformation of consciousness. So in other traditions, prayer is spoken so that it will somehow convince God to do something, or it will change the world around you to be different. And that is not what we're doing with affirmative prayer. With affirmative prayer, we are changing our own consciousness. That is where the prayer is happening, in your own consciousness. And as your own consciousness shifts, guess what? Your experience shifts with it. So when we are engaged in the process of affirmative prayer, we are anchoring spiritual truth. We are aligning ourselves with that truth and reminding ourselves. I had a teacher once say that affirmative prayer is remembering to remember. Remembering to remember that I am whole, I am love. And then that begins to shift our understanding, and the shift in our own understanding transforms our experience. All of this is framed, as everything that we do in unity is framed, around what will enable you to live a more fulfilled, joyful, loving, and compassionate life. That is the point of this teaching, so that you can live a more fulfilled life. So when we're stepping into an affirmative prayer, we are literally asking ourselves, what would be useful right now? What is it that will support me or support the person that you're praying with to live a more fulfilled, joyful, centered, anchored life? The divine is huge, right? I mean, it's all that there is. We believe that there's only one power and one presence, and that's everything. It's the planets and the stars and the cosmos, and it's the laws, and it's each of us individually, and it's huge, and it's like, wow. I don't know about you, but that's not very useful to me. I mean, it feels good, but how is that actually useful to me? What's useful to me is if I identify something about the allness that is and say, I am that. And that is what our 12 powers are. Our 12 powers are a way for us to identify and understand and recognize God in a way that I can actually use, in a way that I can activate in time and in space. So we're always looking at what is going to be useful for me? What will support me right now so that I can remember who I truly am and I can step into the world from that understanding of who I truly am? So the affirmative prayer process itself. So my book will be coming out with Linda Martella-Whitsitt in June of next year. Linda Martella-Whitsitt and I have been working for, 4 or 5 years now, cultivating and updating the language of Unity's affirmative prayer. We have been teaching it for a really long time, and we've been noticing where there's been struggles, where there is confusion, where people are not able to actually embody this teaching in the way that enables it to actually be really useful. And so what I'm going to give you now is the process that Linda and I have developed. And so the first movement in this process is exactly what Carolyn was singing about. It is that I am open. I open to a new possibility. Because remember, affirmative prayer is not changing something out there. What is affirmative prayer changing? Right here. So the first thing we have to say is, I'm willing to shift. I'm willing, right? Even no matter how frustrated you may be, you don't have to actually shift right away. You just have to be willing to be open. Willing. Can you feel how that gives you a little bit more room? Willing for a new understanding to arise in yourself. And from that place of willingness, we step into what I call the heart of affirmative prayer. The next 3 movements are the heart of affirmative prayer. So we start off, like I said, recognizing that God is, that there is only one power and one presence. That is the truth of who we all are, of all that is, and we pick 1 or 2 things that would be useful right now. So we would recognize that God is strength. Recognize that God is power. Recognize that God is love or compassion, whatever it is that would be useful for you in that moment. And then the next movement is that we integrate that and understand that that is who we are. That if God is love, and I am love, take a breath with me on that. We are that which is. So if God is strength, I am strength. If God is power, I am power. If God is compassion, I am compassion. Even if I forgot, I am reminding myself right now the I am that I am. So we call that integrating the truth of who we are with our human understanding. The idea of the integration is that you become the divine human. Right? You're able to be the divine human that you truly are. And then from that place of recognizing that I am strength, What does it mean that I know how to do? What does it mean that I can have? What does it mean that I can understand that I didn't understand before? What am I realizing about myself in that moment? And this is where we get actionable, right? This is where it actually is. How do I show up as strength in the moment? What does that actually mean if I am strength? And then the last piece is that we appreciate not that God is going to take care of it for us. We appreciate the shift in our own consciousness, that we are now made new, that we now understand something in a different way. And can you see how this is holding the high watch for yourself? That this process enables you to meet the part of you that might be so sad and so lost and so frustrated and so angry. It is a way that you can meet yourself from the truth of who you are and enable yourself to be able to step out in the world in a different way. And as you step out in the world in a different way, guess what? Your experience of the world will change. So the picture that, think of it as the movements spiral outward. You know, when you come to prayer, you're usually feeling really tight and closed, right? Something is like hard, particle, right? Prayer process is turning it back into the wave. So we start from this coiled up place within us, and we open a little bit. And then we're recognizing God, we're recognizing what's useful. We open a little bit more. We recognize into, oh, it's me. I am all that that is. And because I am all that that is, that means I have all of this available to me. Can you feel how much more open it becomes? And then we're appreciating the expansive shift in consciousness that we have just initiated within ourselves. So that heart of prayer can look something like this. If God is wisdom and I am wisdom, that means I can choose wisely and well. It means that I can discern clearly what it is that is mine to do. Can you feel how we've taken the idea of wisdom and we've actually made it something you can do in time and in space, so that you are living into wisdom in a very concrete way? If God is strength and I am strength, and I can be strong and steadfast, I can have courage and tenacity in all it is that I am doing. If God is love and I am love, I can open my heart freely. I can speak compassionately. I can be the harmonious presence out in the world with all who I interact with. If God is joy and I am joy, I can be lighthearted. I can have fun. Yeah, right? And if God is power and I am power, then I can be powerful. I can have self-mastery. And what that ultimately means is I can change the world. But it begins right here with the shift in my own consciousness. That's what it means to hold the high watch. To be able to move to that larger divine awareness of who I am, of who you are, of who we are, of who Unity and Marin is. That's what we're inviting ourselves into again and again and again. So this is how we often feel in the world, right? What's alive for us is like, we're here. It's demanding attention. It's super loud. All those aches and pains, which I've started to experience myself, so I totally relate, right? The change that is happening always to us all, right? Even the good things in life. Can we get caught up in our successes, in the things that feel really good, that are circumstantial, that are anchored in this outside realm? And what holding the high watch is inviting you into is to shift to this. It's not that those things disappear. It's that the truth and the absolute is what stands front forward. That is what calls your attention first and foremost. That is the place that you are choosing from. That is what you are looking for. Remember, I talked about in the shadow, what we're looking for, we will see. What we are looking for, we will experience. So if I am looking for all the ways that I am weak, am I going to find them? But if I look for the ways that I am steadfast and strong, am I going to find those? Yes. And that puts us on a regenerative cycle for ourselves, rather than a degenerative cycle that keeps cycling back on how we're not enough. Affirmative prayer is one of the most powerful ways that you can shift off of what isn't working to what is working, to what is yours, to what you can step into in time and in space because you are a divine human. And then there's the ways that that doesn't feel like it's possible, right? There's all the ways that that just feels like it's a challenge. Sometimes we're just drowning. Anybody in here ever experienced that? I have. Myrtle Fillmore has this to say. Ooh, I love that. Somebody's phone has a beautiful, beautiful ringtone. God is calling. If the light of understanding does not manifest as swiftly as you expect, do not be discouraged. The truths you plant are as seeds that are growing in the soil of your consciousness, and they are bound to bring forth their harvest, so that your whole consciousness will be illumined, spiritualized, transformed. I love Myrtle. Myrtle is one of my anchors because she really understood what it meant to be a divine human. She really understood that sometimes the humanness takes over, but that what is always available to us is the divinity that we are. And if we're just willing to show up, if we're willing to do just as much as we can in that moment, even if it just means sitting for 60 seconds. We meditated for 60 seconds. That's an invitation that is going to grow in our consciousness, that the seeds that we are planting are working you. So you don't have to become everything all at once. Let's take that off of our shoulders. We are here to grow and to evolve and to become. I love this picture. This is why we pray for each other. Because we can't always be there for ourselves, right? Sometimes it's just too much. Sometimes it literally feels like the world has fallen underneath our feet. And that's why we come together in Sacred Sangha. That's why we come together like this, online, in person, so that in those moments when our spiritual understanding feels dry and arid and nothing is growing, that there are those around us who happily carry us through those challenging spaces. Most of you have experienced that it's a lot easier to see the good in someone else than it is to actually see it and know it in yourself. And so what you're invited into for World Day of Prayer is to really live into that. Can you hold the world in prayer? Can you hold this community in prayer? Can you see and know the possibility, the divinity that is actually concretely present and palpable in every single creature being that is on this planet and beyond? Can you plant the seeds in your own consciousness and allow that to take root and to be transformed? So We have several people who are taking trips, and so I thought that this would be a perfect opportunity for us as a community to practice some affirmative prayer. Everybody feel good with that? Right? So Charcelle is leaving and she's going away. Jordan is her stepdaughter who's going with her. Carolyn, if you want to just come stand right here. Carolyn's going away too. Anyone else in here who's taking a trip? Because that's what we're going to pray for. Come on up here. And if you're watching at home, just you can stand right where you are. We're going to hold you in this powerful field. Anybody who's going to be traveling and wants to be held in light, come on down. Just make a row here. Ooh, we got lots of people traveling. I love it. Look at this community. So we're going to hold the high watch. Now, here's the sneaky part about affirmative prayer, is that in order for us to hold the high watch for them, where does it start? Right here. Remember, where is prayer happening? In our consciousness. So what I'm going to invite everyone to do, and you guys get to do this up here too for each other, right? And if you want to hold hands, you can hold hands. You don't have to. We're good, depending on what your comfort level is. So we're all going to take a breath, and I'm going to guide you through the 5 steps. And I'm going to invite you to silently just anchor truth for each person who's up here. And remembering, too, that we can anchor this truth for anyone who is traveling. Because there is only one mind, there is only one heart, there is only one breath. So we open our heart, and we quiet the mind, and we're willing for this perfect possibility that is ease and grace in travel, that is flow, that is harmony, that is, just that joy that comes from that beautiful adventure that all of these people here are being invited into, but that we're also inviting ourselves into. So just feel that possibility of adventure. And we're going to recognize God. So pick a way that you think what would be useful to you if you were going to travel, and that will be useful to them, trust me. So pick a quality. What would be useful to you if you were going to be traveling? Strength, joy, power, life. What would be useful to you right now? And know that it is you. Just feel that that's the truth of who you are right now. And then expand that field of understanding and include everyone here and those who are on live stream. Just feeling that container. So whatever quality of the divine you are claiming, see it, know it is also each of these people's identity. It's available to them. It's accessible to them. And now what is it? As the divine living expression of strength or power or wisdom or joy, what is it that they get to experience while they're traveling? And just feel it in your bones. Feel the grace, the ease, the flow, the joy, the connection. See them moving through, being touched, their hearts being touched. See them having an awareness of growth and expansion, of learning, of creativity, of joy. That deep, heartfelt connection as they connect with loved ones or make new friends. The capacity to do all that is theirs to do. To be all that they are called to be. And now we just appreciate the fact that we know this. Feel how appreciative you are that we know this for them, that we know this for each other. Oh, how good that is to know. Right now, everything they need, we already have. All travel, blessed, and a blessing. And in agreement, we all say, and so it is. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. Woohoo, that was fun. You guys can go sit down. That was fun, right? So that's what it means to hold the high watch, right? And did anybody notice that when we hold the high watch for others, do you feel better too? Yeah, that's the secret. Shh. Right? That's the secret, that we think that these prayer chaplains are just so altruistic and that's just, they get nothing from this as they just show up for all of us. They get so much. So think about that too when you want to ask for prayer, but you think, oh, I don't know, I don't want to bother them. Just remember that they are getting as much out of the prayer request as you are. There's no separation in that. All right. So, World Day of Prayer. So wouldn't it be fun to do more of that on Wednesday night? So come join, 7 p.m. The labyrinth will be set up, as I said. Fill out your prayer requests, and then there's a very pretty filigreed box that's in the lobby. You can also put them in these boxes up here too, and they'll get sorted out. But just make sure that you give that to somebody so that they can be held in prayer during World Day of Prayer. So I am going to invite Carolyn to come back up. And how appropriate is this song all around the world?
Well, you'll notice the dance floor is still here. It's not going anyplace. So this may be the time that you want to take advantage of it. This is a song by Taj Mahal and Keb Mo all around the world. Hit it, guys. My backup singers, yay! What's all the fuss about? Well, people can't get along. Maybe we ought to talk about all the good we've got going on. Everybody knows there's a better way, and we're all hoping and praying that one day there'll be love all around the world. There'll be happy understanding. All around the world. There'll be joy all around the world. There'll be happy children singing all around the world. Can't you just feel it? It's everywhere. There's a powerful spirit all through the air. Won't be no reason to sing the blues, and there'll be nothing on the radio but some good news. And there'll be love all around the world. There'll be peace and understanding. There'll be joy all around the world. There'll be happy children singing all around the world. Let's hear from the band. We're gonna bring about a positive change. I can't help thinking about how things are getting so strange. How do we get away from the misery and pain and still feel the sunshine in the pouring rain? And there's love all around the world. There'll be peace and understanding. There'll be joy all around the world. There'll be happy children singing all around the world. There'll be love all around the world. There'll be peace and understanding. There'll be joy all around the world. There'll be happy children singing. Oh yes, there'll be love all around the world. There'll be peace and understanding. There'll be joy all around the world.
was so fun. That was so fun. Great, guys. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Carolyn and Jeannie and Cindy. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you. That was fun. Awesome. All right, this is our time for giving and receiving. And I think at this time, DeeAnn, or me? It's me. Okay. So giving and receiving, why I give. But before I share with you, no, yeah. Okay, I knew I was right.
The part she didn't say is that the baskets will be coming around in just a few minutes.
Because you weren't moving.
So it's time for our fall fundraiser. And we have had a most amazing matching donation challenge put forward by Kevin and Lynn Seaver-Forsey. So they are going to donate up to $20,000, but it needs to be matched, right? So that's the fun part. That is the fun part, that it's to be matched. And we have through October 30th, right, for that process to happen. So all of this is to uplift and revitalize our community. That's the intention, that's the goal. And what I'm going to invite us into, so in the Jewish tradition, it is considered a blessing when you give monetarily, that you give in denominations of 18 in some way. Because the letter Chai, which means life, when they translate that numerically, it becomes the number 18. So, like my bat mitzvah, long time ago, but I got a lot of $18 checks, right? I got a couple of $180 checks. I got $1,018 check. Right? So the idea is to incorporate the 18 in some way, shape, or form into your giving. So what if we did this with the 12 powers? What if the denominations that you give are centered around 12? 12 is a number of completion. 12 is a number of wholeness. So the invitation is to give 12, 120, 1,200, 2,400, 3,600, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And as you're doing that, I'm going to invite you to own one of those 12 powers. Right? Oh, Charcel, I love you. We are zeal together, that's right. So you can donate online. If you go online, there's a special pull-down thing that says Kevin and Lynn Seaver-Forsey Matching Fund, so you can give that way. If you're going to write a check, just do that and just put in the memo that it's part of the matching fund. Right? And so the idea is that we are, as a community, uplifting and revitalizing who we are and what we stand for, right? So is this fun? Yeah. It is fun, right? And can we give Ken and Lynn some more love here? And I see this happening way before October 30th, right? Way before October 30th. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay. And in just a few moments, we will have our ushers come forward, so that gives you an opportunity to experience the giving and receiving. I feel like NPR right now. I don't want to give back the money. So make sure we matched the 20,000, because I don't want to give any part of that money back. And for those online, there's an opportunity for you to give with a QR code on your screen. If you're on your computer, you can give to unityinmarin.org/donate. If you're on your phone, not in here, of course, but if you're at home on your phone, you're going to text to 84321, or you can use the old-fashioned landline, call us, and hit extension 102, or you can use snail mail. We are located at 600 Palm Drive in Novato. And if you're sending money in to match the funds, make sure you make a notation for that. And at this time, the ushers will come forward and Carolyn Gauthier will sing our giving song.
Just as we give, so we receive. Richly we live in one golden weave. There is nothing that we can lack. We give from love. Love gives it back. Just as we give, so we receive. Richly we live in one golden weave. There is nothing that we can lack. We give from love. Love gives it back.
Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you to everyone. Okay, this is the time of the service. I'm going to highlight some activities that are going on here at Unity in Marin. Again, you can get further information. There's going to be a QR code that comes up, and you can click on that and be able to get more information about the classes and sign into it. We will have our virtual courtyard today at 1 o'clock. It will be facilitated by Cindy Hall. Tim, walk faster, walk faster, walk faster. Tim, walk faster, walk faster. I'm going to invite Tim up, who will be giving our bio danza activity at the end of service today. Walk faster, walk faster.
And I'm going to talk faster, too. Hey, my name is Tim. Welcome, everyone. I'm the facilitator of Biodanza. There are little cards in the back there because you're going to say, what is that? There's a website and everything else like that. You don't have to just come as you are, and about an hour of movement. And some of it is sacred, some of it's profane. Thank you.
Thank you. I love it. Got power here with this mic. And that workshop begins at 11:45 today. We are having our drum circle on Thursday, September 8th. That is a lot of fun. That's the facilitator led by Melissa, our own Melissa. So that's 7 to 9. Make sure you join her. And as you've known, and as we mentioned, the book study will be starting. The book that we're focusing on is Think Again. It is being sold in the bookstore. Please go around the corner and visit with Christine, and she can help you purchase your book. Well, she'll help you purchase the book. She's not going to purchase the book. You know what I meant. Okay. And at this time, I'd like to invite Reverend DeeAnn to talk about the Faith in Action Connection Circles.
So I know the listening circles with Reverend Cynthia have been so popular. All I've been hearing is about how wonderful they are and how people have really enjoyed connecting with each other and listening to each other. So we're going to have 2 in-person but hybrid listening circles around faith in action. I want to get to know you guys. I want to understand why, if you already are part of Faith in Action, why? Right? Why do you give? Why do you support in that way? And if you're interested in becoming Faith in Action, which is part of our regular giving, people who pledge a certain amount of money that they will give to Unity in Marin over the course of the year, why? So the whole point of these listening circles is to understand our why, to get to know each other a little bit better, for me to get to know you a little bit better, and for us to really begin to understand, why is it that we do come together like this? What is it that we get from Unity in Marin that invites us to support this beautiful, beautiful community? So it's going to be on September 25th at noon in here, the sanctuary, and it will be on October 9th at noon, either one of those 2 days. You don't need to come to both, just one. And it will not be live streamed, but it will be people who are out there in the virtual world. You guys can Zoom in, and that way we can actually hear from you, and you can be an active participant in the conversation rather than just watching it from a distance. All right?
Thank you. You're going to see what upcoming services are available, and while you're seeing that on the board, I'm going to do a shameless plug. For some of you, you may know that I work part-time here as the facilities events rental manager. I am open for business. If you have any life celebrations that you want to have here, you will talk to me and work with me, and I'm so fun. I'm so fun. So. So please come to me, weddings, baptisms, parties, anniversaries. We're actually almost booked every weekend this weekend. Yes, I have a cot in my office. But anyway, come join. All right, and again, we do have a QR code. Use that if you want to just go directly to signing up for any of our classes. And at this time, I'd like to ask the prayer chaplains to please identify yourself. These are wonderful. You guys all sit on that side of the room. It's very, oh no, we got one. Okay. Thanks, Claire. Oh, and Gus. Okay, perfect. These are members of our community that volunteer their time to pray with you after each service. They are available. Please use them. They want to connect with you, and everything you share with them is in confidence. Thank you for your time and energy. We love you, Prayer Chaplains. Thank you. And at this time, we'd like to welcome the youth and family. Yay!
Rise. We have a blessing that we do for the children, and then we'll go right into our prayer for protection. Hi, you guys. It's good to see you. Oh, that's okay. You can go on up there with her. You can go on up there with her. Oh, who wants to share something? Jane, what would you like? Oh, Jared, what would you like to share, darling?
I was going to share some. Did you bring what we did today in our class?
No. He raised his hand when we were coming out. All right, we were talking about the power of the month, which is divine order, and they made timelines about significant things in their life at each age. Do you want to point out two things? That's me when I was younger, and that's my grandmother.
Okay, so we were talking about how God is present in all parts of our life, and if we look and align with that God presence, we can increase our divine goodness flow, right? Mm-hmm. So that's his timeline, and they all made timelines. So
Yay.
That's what we want to share.
Thank you. So I'm going to invite everyone to just open their hearts, right? We're holding the high watch for these kids, yes? We're holding the high watch for all the kids of the world. We're holding the high watch for the children that we still are inside. And so we extend our hands and our hearts, and we say together, "You are the perfect expression of divine light. We love you just the way you are." And so it is. Amen.
And let's sign our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. And let's sing our peace song. Or, yes, no? Yes, let's sing our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, for you.